This is the webinar edition of my workshop, Beginner Facebook for Business. And I'm glad you've joined us today. Today we're all about this agenda, why you should be using Facebook for Business, keeping your personal and business activity on Facebook separate, using Facebook's design wisely, setting up your page, what makes for a good post, and how to post. So here's what we know about the data behind Facebook and all social media. Social media has become the #1 activity on the web, which is to say, when we go to use the internet, this is the most likely activity we've gone there to do, to use social media. And that's why you need to be present on social media with your business. Secondly, what is social media all about? Why? Why should your business be playing around in this weird new atmosphere of social media? It's all about building relationships so that you can ultimately gain new customers and have them do business with you. So you're using social media to build relationships, and anyone who is a salesperson will tell you you can't sell until you've built a relationship with that potential customer. So here's how we did that in the old days, before the internet, pre-1996. 1996 is about the year mere mortals got access to the internet and to email. And so at that time, before that, we sent out paper press releases. We maybe printed brochures. We put up paper posters around town. We paid for ads in the newspaper, magazines, television, radio, and we sent out maybe expensive direct mail pieces, and we went to networking events like the Chamber of Commerce, et cetera, et cetera. We do all of that now using our watches or our smartphones, and we've added email and blogging and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and maybe a bunch of others, and that other stuff hasn't necessarily gone away. We just do it differently now. There's still a role for print in your marketing, but here's my message. If you're trying to do it all, this is what's going to happen to you. You are going to crash and burn. If you're a solo operator, an artist, a writer, you're not going to be able to do it all. So my message to you is to take it one step at a time, master one thing at a time, and that one thing right now should be Facebook. Facebook is #1. Before we get into more data, again, what is the role of social media? I talked about building relationships. It's also about business communications. And the basic foundational principle of business communications is that everything you say should serve one of these two purposes: introduce your business to people who don't know about it, or to reinforce the positive impressions among those who already do know about you. So that has to do with everything you put out in the world, and even if it's just a Facebook post or an Instagram post or a blog post, introduce or reinforce. Keep those principles in mind. Now a little data behind Facebook. You may have heard that Facebook is dying. It's not. It continues to grow. It has its twists and turns, but it is still on a growth path. And here are the 5 reasons your business must be on Facebook. First off, #1 reason, you see the blue bar on the far left. Facebook is #1 and everything else is secondary. Second to Facebook is YouTube, which is its own different social media animal, and what it says to us is we should master video marketing, perhaps as a second step. And look at the third one is Instagram. Now, this is a little bit old data from 2017. New data shows us that Instagram has gone up quite a bit. And if it were to pass that Facebook would crash and burn, most likely people would migrate to Instagram in more numbers. And that is because Instagram is owned by Facebook. So it would behoove you to learn Facebook, because the principles might ultimately be the same once Instagram comes to its zenith. So the rest of them, Twitter has a very small niche market. There's a use for that, but we're not going to get into that today. And the rest of these shown here are secondary. So that's reason #1. There are 2.2 billion users of Facebook across the world. Secondly, we know this about internet users in the United States. 72% of them use Facebook. 28% don't. That's what the chart on the left shows you. On the right, older population, the older Americans have discovered Facebook. 52% of them use Facebook, 48% don't. What's driving that is both the use of mobile phones. Mobile phones make it easy for people to stay in touch. And the way today's savvy seniors have stayed in touch is through Facebook, because their children have said, you want to see pictures of the grandkids, you better be on Facebook. That's an overgeneralization, but we do know that the older population is on Facebook. 52% of them use Facebook. So we also know this. Americans spend on average 50 minutes a day. 1/16 of their waking hours they spend on Facebook. That's a good reason for your business to be on Facebook. The second reason is because there are so many people using Facebook, you want your business to be there, or as advertisers say, to be where the eyeballs are. As they're passing by looking at pictures of their grandkids, you want them to be able to see information about your business and what you're up to. That's the whole point. Thirdly, here in little old New Hampshire, this is kind of hard to explain, but the smallness of our state can work to your advantage on Facebook. And what I mean by that is, you know, many people out and about in the community, because we're small and we meet people pretty easily. It's easy to go back and find them on Facebook and encourage them to like your page. And conversely, if you're on Facebook, you're going to see names flying by and businesses and organizations that you want to do business with. It's easy to connect with them because you know them out in the community. Maybe you've been at a conference or a trade show, ran into a lot of people. It's easy to use Facebook to find people, and vice versa. That's a good thing. Reason number 4, and this should maybe be reason number 1, but it has to do with word of mouth advertising. Word of mouth advertising has always been the best kind of advertising, right? We like what our friends like. If I see a woman on the street and like her shoes, I will ask her where she got the shoes. She will tell me, and I will go there. Same thing works on Facebook, and people are often mentioning the things they're doing on Facebook in terms of interrelating with businesses and products and brands and services. 68% of people will buy a product because somebody mentioned it on Facebook. That's a good reason for your business to be there. All right. Your job as a Facebook page owner is to get new likes. That should just translate in your head to new fans, but a like is what you get. And somebody has studied this at a point in time that said every new like you get to the page is worth $174. Now, that's not a tit for tat kind of thing. It means that ultimately, if you've cultivated a relationship with those people who have come to like your page and you've used that page appropriately, ultimately, people will give you money. They will buy your stuff. They will use your services. That is the point. So those are my 5 top really fast reasons why you need to be on Facebook. And now let's just go through a little bit naming of parts. Whether you've had personal experience on Facebook or not, just start with the idea that there's a difference between your personal activity and your business activity. So we're going to start with personal activity. Here's a picture of my darling niece, Emily. Her Facebook page, and she's showing me her beautiful twin daughters in this top large photo at the top called a cover photo, and she's indicating who she is by the smaller photo in the lower left. And she's just used her twin daughters as a profile for herself. And so I could friend Emily here. This is called a personal profile, and we friend people on Facebook, okay? So if I friend her, or if I friend other people, their information that they post comes into what's called my newsfeed. It scrolls down the middle of my screen in a never-ending, continuous, chronological, most recent first stream of consciousness. So here on this slide at the top is my daughter, and she's talking about running into a friend of hers in a random airport someplace. And I see it because I have friended my daughter on Facebook. This is called the news feed, and that was the thing that she chose to talk about at that moment in time. Here's another friend of mine named Chris Conroy. He posts what he's doing. Often he posts pies because he's really into making pie. Again, this is your news feed. I'm going to see something here different than you are going to see. Most people using Facebook will just post text and photos, and it's usually silliness, which is fine because these are our friends and family, and this is the way we're building relationships online with our friends and family. All right. So I will go to Facebook at any given time and see what my friends and family are up to or what they're thinking about. Again, it's my daughter at the top, and then it's my friend Rose, who is telling the world. I have friended Rose. Rose is telling the world I'm interested in solar panel or solar energy, and I've posted an article about solar energy that she pulled from somewhere else. And this goes on to infinity and beyond. All of the people that I've friended and all of the businesses that I've liked would ultimately appear in this newsfeed if they were posting something. Okay, again, that's called the newsfeed, the never-ending chronological scroll down the middle of my page. So here's an example of a post that I did, and this is typical. This was when I was about to head back north after a winter in Savannah, Georgia. I was heading to my home in Hancock where the temperature was -11, and I wondered why I was doing that. That's just a screenshot from my phone, and the phone is showing my weather app, and it's showing the weather. So that's just a silly thing. Did I need to do that? Did anybody need to know that? Not really. But my family and friends cared where I was going, what the temperature was. Again, relationship building, right? So that, again, a post on Facebook is called a post or a status update. Those two terms are interchangeable, and you can use them interchangeably. Just in case you ever have to use the Facebook help function to look up something, that's the way Facebook will refer to what you're seeing on the left, a post or a status update. So individuals like me, a personal me on Facebook, I can choose to follow government entities, nonprofits, businesses, celebrities, and official groups. And I do that by not by becoming their friend, but by liking their pages. And that pages should be thought of as capital P. A business's experience on Facebook is called a page, capital P, and a personal presence on Facebook is called a profile. So for businesses, capital P, you're going to create a business page. So here on the left, you see the town of Raymond, New Hampshire, which I have chosen to like. And therefore, because I like them, their information comes into my news stream right in there with my friend Rose and my daughter Amanda, and then something from the town of Raymond. And then the next thing is the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests. And that's a nonprofit that I've chosen to like their page. So all of these entities you see here, government, nonprofit, celebrities, those have pages. They operate the same, whether they're nonprofit or for-profit. Okay, so those I've chosen to follow those two entities. Therefore, I see what they post amid everything else that's happening on Facebook. All right, my choosing to like a business is the equivalent of subscribing to their newsletter. It's the equivalent of inviting them into my home. I'm interested in this, therefore I want you to come into my home and tell me what you're up to. So that's the whole theory behind Facebook business pages. Encourage customers or potential customers to get your information so that they will learn about you and your products and services and ultimately come to do business with you. So again, here's the news feed. There's a business post, there's an organizational post, there's a friend post, and this goes down to infinity and beyond. But if it's appearing in my news feed, I have invited people there by virtue of being their family or friend, or by liking their business page, okay? Phew. So again, business page, capital P. Here's how that happens. Here's how you go about creating a business page and what it looks like. Going back to a personal presence on Facebook, here's a person named April Walker, who is not yet my friend on Facebook. She is a friend in life, but not on Facebook. So we know that this is a personal profile on Facebook. It's showing me April's name. She's got a big wide photograph at the top, and that's her in the lower left square photograph. Now, I could stumble upon her on Facebook or know that she's there and go searching for her and choose this button here that says Add Friend. If I were to do that, April would receive a note from me that said, Chris wants to be your friend. Do you want to accept this invitation? And she probably will, okay? That's how you act on Facebook. That's how you get friends and family connected on Facebook. Again, that is called a personal profile. So now, when I say to set up a business page, you must have a personal profile on Facebook. You must have a personal profile. Facebook requires it. And from that personal profile, bouncing off of it, is the creation of a Facebook business page. And usually when I say that to folks, they freak out because often they don't want their personal lives intermingled with their business lives. And I'll get into the details of this in a minute, but know that they can and will remain separate if you want them to. If you want them to commingle, that's fine too, and I'll teach you how to do that. So business and personal can remain separate in their own little beacons. Here's how Facebook describes that. You can create and manage a business page from your personal account. That's not very helpful, is it? But we're going to walk through the steps to get you there, okay? So how to operate the two separately. Here again is a business page. So you see over here, the Hannah Grimes Center looks similar to that page from my friend April, big wide photograph, square photograph. But now this button over here says like, and I, as a visitor to this page, could go click this like button and become a follower of the Hannah Grimes Center, and therefore inviting them and their information into my newsfeed. Okay. How do I get to operating my business page? Is that anytime I go to Facebook, it opens in my personal presence, represented here by this my family photo at the top. You'll see it's personal me on the lower left, but up in the upper right is a downward arrow, right where that red circle is. If I were to click that downward arrow, it opens up this menu, Your Pages, capital P. It's showing me the pages that I manage, and at the top is my business page. Now I manage pages for other clients. Most of you will have none or just one here. So if I were to click that upper arrow within the red circle, then see in this drop-down menu my name, my business name, click on my business name, then it opens up the business page. So there I've switched from that picture of my family and me. Now it's something related to what I do, social media, and then it's me teaching over here on the left. And you can see that if I visited this page, I have already liked it, but if you visited it and has not liked it, this word here would say like as opposed to liked, and that's how somebody would agree to have my stuff come in to their newsfeed. Okay, that's just another close-up view of that. We also know that I'm in the right place because up in the upper left here, it says you are visiting Halverson's new media page. That's a search box there that functions almost the same as a search on Google, but it's showing me you are on the page called Halverson New Media. Over here I can double check, yep, it's my page, and if I wanted to, I could click right on my face here or home to get back to my personal activity on Facebook. So how are you going to create that page? At the top of Facebook in the blue bar now, however you get there, is a word you'll see says create, and circled in red here, create. And if I were to click on the word create, this drop-down menu comes up, and the very first thing Facebook is inviting you to create is called page. Other things you can create, an ad, a group, an event, we'll leave those for later. But a page is what you're after here. Clicking on the word page here opens up this screen where you choose, Facebook is asking you here, what type of page do you want to be for your business? Do you want to be, on the left-hand side, a business or brand, or on the right-hand side, a community or public figure? Just remove the concept of community or public figure from consideration, because that's meant for, public figures are meant for big notable types like celebrities or government officials, and it's called a public figure, and they want it to, Facebook wants it to remain separate so that they can verify that you are actually the president of the country, or you are actually the governor of the state, if you're going to call yourself that. So most businesses should be using the one on the left, business or brand. So here you're telling Facebook, I'm a business or brand, and it will walk you through the steps, literally, when you get to this. Get started is what you would press next, and then this comes up. A box that looks like this, and it's asking you, okay, we're going to create a page for you. What do you want to name it? And right here, what you should name it is something as close as possible to your existing business name that you use to do business. It's possible you won't be able to do that exact name if somebody else out there has already claimed it, but you should consider trying it, and if not, then just see if you can modify it a little bit. You might have to add the name of your business plus NH, for example, to indicate you're the one in New Hampshire, or the name of your business plus Judy, your first name, something like that. And then category, if you were to click in this box here, it would bring up a short, another drop-down menu from which you can pick what type of business are you, education, medical, marketing, sales, manufacturing, that type of thing, and you want to, in that drop-down menu, pick what's closest to who you are. Then you're going to click continue, moving forward. This would come up, and this is how Facebook will populate that name you gave it. So note the difference here at the top. My username for my personal page is this, meaning facebook.com/my name. And that is just like a web address, a URL. I can click on it to get to that page directly. If somebody presented it to me in this fashion, it would be clickable. So at the bottom here, same thing. I told it the name of my page, and it populates at facebook.com/the name of your business, or the name of the page. And so once you've set that up, it becomes clickable when you cut and paste it into other places, like your email address, or your email blast, I should say. Be careful in setting this, because you only get to change it once down the road, only once, and even then the changing of the name becomes rather onerous. Facebook has all sorts of fail-safes built in so that you're not constantly changing your name to confuse people or to spam them or whatever. So you only get to change it once. Anyway, all right, so then the next steps after setting your name, you are asked by Facebook, walking you through the steps. Step 1, upload a profile picture, it says. Upload a profile picture. Here's what we're after here. Big, wide photograph, and in this small square, that's called a profile picture. That should be something like your logo or sign, or your face, or your building, something to represent your business, and that will become recognizable to people. So it should be very clear, and understand that most people are using Facebook on their mobile phone. So a tiny photograph that is clear. I mean, the photograph is tiny, therefore you should make sure it's very, very clear. And what I mean by that is often line drawings don't work at that size. People can't see them. They can't discern what it's about. And you want them to be able to see your logo, see your colors, understand in a tiny, tiny space who you are. So keep that relatively constant, that profile photo, but know that you can change it at any time. But I would recommend that you keep it the same. And then Facebook walks you through the next step after uploading a photo. A profile photo, it says cover photo. That's the big wide photo. That's called a cover photo. And it's asking you here to upload a cover photo. Clicking on this would open up a very typical, where should I go find this file of yours? The, uploading from your hard drive is what it's asking you to do, okay? So here's doing those two things. Uploading the profile photo and the cover photo are your last steps before you've got a bare bones page created now. It's ready to go. Your profile photo will be here, your cover photo, but you'll get this message. Welcome to your new page. It's now open for business. And you can continue to walk through the steps, add a short description of the page, and that would be absolutely similar to the About section of your website. Whatever you've got in your website, if you have one, should drop right in there. It should be very, very short description, very, very short, to the point, targeted description of what you do. All right, so then here's the main issue. You are brand new to Facebook, and if you were to begin to post things to your business page, you will do that and nobody will see it because nobody knows you're there yet. They will only begin to know you're there by virtue of your posting to the page. So what Facebook suggests right off the bat is to get some traction, to get noticed initially, would be to invite some of your friends, your Facebook friends, to the page. And that's what's happening over here on the right. Search for friends to invite, and then it's suggesting two right off the bat that I could press this button here and invite them. So search for friends to invite would be searching for someone specific within my body of people who have already connected with me personally as family and friends. Let's say I know that there's a person named Paul in my 300 family and friends. I could search for him, have his name appear right here, and then press the invite button. So that again gets into scary territory if you're trying to keep your personal presence separate from your business presence. But know that a few things. That's totally understandable if you're doing this on sort of a corporate level, but if you're a solo proprietor, an artist, a writer, whatever, your family and friends are going to want to know about your business page, and they won't be annoyed when you ask them. And you may as well use them to get you going, to get some traction. You have to have somebody paying attention to what you're doing. Okay, so hitting that invite button, they will get a message on their end that says, your friend Chris just opened a business page called da-da-da. Don't you want to come like it and see what she's up to? It's very non-threatening, and people usually do it, especially if they're family and friends. So that would come up something like that right at the beginning of your business page. And then if you were to click show me all the friends, it would list them in no particular order. It's actually the order in which you became their friends. And you can go through this list and pick from that list who you wish to invite. So on this list you're seeing on the screen, the top one has liked, the second one has already liked. I don't have to or want to ask them again. Here you see Margot has been invited to the page, but she has chosen not to like it, and I don't get to ask her again. I don't get to bug people. And if any of these had not been invited yet by me, the button would say invite, okay? So that you get to pick and choose from your list of family and friends. If you don't have family and friends, if you're not using Facebook personally, even though you had to open a Facebook business, personal page on Facebook, if you're not using it, you won't have that opportunity to ask your friends and family at the initial stages of running a business page. So now we've got just some naming of parts. That small square thing is called a profile photo, and the top big very horizontal photograph is called a cover photo, and you should change that cover photo regularly. Keep the small square one relatively the same and change that big wide one at least every couple of weeks. Don't let it sit there. You will think about doing it seasonally, or think about using that space to advertise whatever's most important in your business at this moment. When you do change it, it's really easy, and when you do change it, it populates itself much like a post would, and because you're going to use your most awesome photographs or information there, people often will like it, they will comment on it, they will share it, and that's what you want. You want them to do that, and when that happens, it improves your page's performance on Facebook. People will begin to see it more readily, okay? Do not keep that cover photo the same through different seasons. Here we are in spring. Do not be showing me big snowdrifts. If it's summertime, do not have fall colors up there. It just shows you're not paying attention. So once again, the small part is called a profile photo. Keep that relatively the same. Most businesses will have their logo, their face, or a sign there to indicate something representing the business. And keep that big wide photo seasonal, okay? Know that you can help other businesses or ask them to help you by going to their pages and inviting your friends to like their page. That's another kind of secondary to that first thing I showed you. Ask your friends and family to like your business page. You can also help other businesses by going to their page as a person and inviting your friends to like them. And that might be something you want to do with your partners in business, your suppliers, your vendors, volunteers if you use them, or entities that have hired you to do whatever your thing is. Think about that as a way to spread the love around. All right, so you will come across this when you're setting up your page. It says reach people nearby or promote page up here in the left. That is actually a form of advertising. Facebook is inviting you to spend a little money to promote this page beyond the people who might otherwise see it. And that gets into the weeds a little bit on Facebook advertising. We won't get into that here, but know that I do run workshops on that topic all the time. So we're going to skip that, but know that in the beginning, paying money to promote your page to a wider audience would probably be money well spent to get yourself noticed at the beginning, okay? So let's go back to that cover photo question here. At the top, the big wide thing is called a cover photo. Here's just an example of one of the best cover photos ever. It's telling the story behind the business instantly, isn't it? There's a paw meeting a human. What do you think the business is? It's an organization that lets people adopt pets. It's the National Humane Society, and this is actually an award-winning photograph. It was so awesome. So your job is to use that space well and wisely, use it, put the very best photograph you have up there, and think about this. Think about that photograph eliciting an emotional response from the viewers. An emotional response means you've gone a great deal towards developing a relationship with those viewers, and they will have warm, fuzzy feelings about you. They will come to know, like, and trust you if you put up awesome photos that do that. Okay? So some other examples, again, seasonally, the Jaffrey Chamber of Commerce put up tulips when the tulips arose. Sunflowers put up this picture of a new painting they were displaying when they set it up. That was awesome because it's so colorful. Another painting from the Park Theater. Great use of that space. Okay? Now you've got the bare bones of a business page. You've opened a business page. You've uploaded a profile photograph, a small photo to use in your branding. You've uploaded a cover photo. You've maybe invited a few friends to come to that page. Now what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to fill up that page with stuff that is really, really interesting every day. Every day. That sounds onerous right now, I know, and I'm going to explain to you how to make that effective and useful for you. We already did that. Your job now is to post good content regularly. What is good content? I hear you saying out there. What is good content? It is content that it will require your care and attention all the time. And it should do one of these four things: educate the readers or viewers, entertain them, engage them, or enrich their lives. And if you meet one of those 4 E's or all of them at once, with luck, you will go viral. And in this case, what I mean by that is your information will be shared, commented on, and liked or clicked through. And that's what Facebook wants to have happen. That's what you want to have happen. Because when I, as a person, like, comment, or share the posts that you, a business, have made, my people, my family and friends who have no clue about your business suddenly see your activity through me. And that's how this all works. That's that word of mouth. That's the viral nature of Facebook. They will see it. You have put up something so awesome. They might click through, and when they click through, they'll learn a little tiny bit about you. And they'll be intrigued enough to give your page that all-encompassing like. They'll come like your page. That's what you want. All right. So posting links and photos, just a tiny tutorial on how to do that. Here's the box that would open up right at the top of your page. It'll say write something. What that is Facebook's telling you, okay, I'm ready to take your stuff. I'm ready to take your post. Write some words. And then step 2 is to pick a photo or video or a graphic to upload to illustrate the text. And you should do that with every post you make. And then you're ready to go. Okay. So I'm going to talk about linking to other content. So backing up just a sec, in this box, you can drop a link. And here's how you would do that. So here's an organization that I follow in order to learn about advances in social media marketing, and the organization is called the socialmediaexaminer.com. That's their website, and they post articles all the time. Their article here is called How to Optimize Instagram. So I have found this, and I've looked at it and said, oh, this is of interest to my audience, and will have the added benefit of showing my audience that I stay up to date in this field. What I can do is go here and grab this website address specifically for this article. I can copy that, copy it, put it in Facebook's brain, go over, here's how it looks when I posted it. I wrote a little something. I like this article a lot. I would do more than that. I would usually write something more than that. But there's the web address that I copied and pasted into the post. And my point here is that it came along with the graphic, the art that was associated with this article that this organization put up on their website. And that happened automatically. Nothing I had to do to make that happen. All right, phew. A little review, a little terminology. Personal profile. That's a person's presence on Facebook. My personal presence on Facebook is called a personal profile. You are about the business of inventing and creating a business page, capital P, that's what it's called. When you begin to post things there, it's called a status update or a post. And the information that you are reading as an owner of a Facebook page is called a news feed. Everybody you've liked and followed come through on your news feed. The news feed is sometimes called a timeline. Those two words are used interchangeably. Very confusing when that happens, but it's either a news feed or a timeline. Use the word news feed, that's more appropriate. The small square photo on your business page is called a profile photo. Profile photo, and the big wide image is called a cover photo, okay? That is a very quick review, a very quick tour through Facebook, the whys you should consider it, and how a Facebook business page works. I hope you found this helpful. Join us in the next webinar for a little advanced Facebook for Business.